अस्सलाम
मोहम्मद।
वालेकुम। कैसे हैं आप?
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
तो भाई मैं बांग्लादेश से बोल रही हूँ। और मैं आई डोंट हैव अ क्वेश्चन, मैं दुआ मांगने के लिए एक्चुअली आई एम टॉकिंग टू यू। आपको पता है ना, बांग्लादेश में प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा है स्टूडेंट का।
जी नहीं, मुझे नहीं पता, मुझे बताइएगा कि किस बात का प्रोडक्ट। और अगर आपको उर्दू सही नहीं आती, आप अंग्रेजी में बात कर लें।
अ, उर्दू आती है। वो प्रोटेस्ट जॉब रिजर्वेशन में था। वो 15 तारीख 17 तारीख को, आई मीन इस महीने में बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट बांग्लादेश में मर गए। और 5 दिन इंटरनेट नहीं था पूरे बांग्लादेश में, और हमारा हालत बहुत ही, स्टूडेंट्स का हालत बहुत ही बुरा है अब। और कुछ हमारे सरकार के फालतू, अब क्या भाषा यूज करूँ इन लोगों के लिए। आई मीन वी आर टोटली मेस्ड अप भाई। आई कैन टेल यू। एंड और जो इस प्रोटेस्ट के कोऑर्डिनेटर्स थे, जो लड़के थे ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी के, तो उन्हें उठा के लेके गए। और गन पॉइंट पे ये कहा कि वो लोग अब प्रोटेस्ट नहीं करेंगे, और इंशाल्लाह टुमारो और बोरे एक बहुत ही बड़ा प्रोटेस्ट का क्या कहे अनाउंसमेंट किया है अब स्टूडेंट्स ने। तो पता नहीं कल क्या होगा, शायद और भी स्टूडेंट्स मरेंगे। आई डोंट नो।
क्या पर्पस, एजेंडा क्या है? स्टूडेंट्स क्या चाहते हैं?
वो पहले जॉब रिजर्वेशन के लिए कोटा मूवमेंट, कोटा रिफॉर्म एक मूवमेंट था पहले। तो आई मीन अराउंड 56% जो गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स है वो रिजर्व थे फ्रीडम फाइटर्स के ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन के लिए, औरतों के लिए, लड़कियों के लिए, और ट्राइबल ग्रुप्स के लिए। तो वो ये जो एक बहुत बड़ा आई मीन सेक्टर था, आई मीन रिजर्वेशन था, उसके लिए स्टूडेंट ने प्रोटेस्ट किया कि हमें जॉब्स नहीं मिल रहे हैं। तो भाई आप अगर ट्विटर पे देखेंगे तो इसके बहुत सारे
मैं
पोस्ट है।
देख लूंगा, मैं देख लूंगा। आपने क्या नाम बताया अपना?
तासनिम।
Tasneem. Tasneem, I will look into it. I will have to go through a lot more data to comment on this. I have no idea about what is the current situation. However, however, I will say this, that my brethren in Bangladesh are suffering from the same stifling because of the kind of people that are ruling Bangladesh. My message to my Bengali brothers and sisters is this: unless our youth in Bangladesh, my Muslim sisters and brothers, my parents in Bangladesh who are raising Muslim kids, my Muslim sisters who are raising Muslim kids, and brothers who are raising their children, they better understand that the bigger problem that Bangladesh is suffering from is the same as what Pakistanis are suffering from, is the same as any North African or Arabian Muslim is suffering from. That the delusion that we have is that we are Muslim, we're Islamic countries. We're not Islamic. First, let's call it as a system which is not Islamic. It is the delusion that is corrupting the definitions of Islam. If they had called themselves as non-Islamic or nothing to do with Islam, I would not have had this sort of complaint. My complaint is that you are all calling it an Islamic republic, even though it is exactly the opposite. It is deeply repugnant to the Quran and Sunnah. My kids in Bangladesh, my kids in India, Pakistan, and the Arabia, they better understand the definitions of Islam. That is my first plea, because this is the first step towards making the bigger change. Unless we know the meaning of what Islam actually is, we are not going to know the requirements of what Allah has put as responsibility upon our shoulders. They have changed the definitions of basics in Islam so successfully that we are living inside Bangladesh or Pakistan as the enemies of Allah Azza wa Jal, even though we live up to the definitions that they created in the name of Islam, and we can successfully call ourselves practicing Muslims. Hasina, Wajid, or whatever that creature's name is, those creatures who are filling up the body of governance. And I'm using very respectful words, even though they might sound derogatory to a lot of people. But the fact that you have committed the most heinous crime in the name of Islam, I urge my Muslim brothers and sisters in Dhaka and any other city in Bangladesh to come to the real definition, to start saying and writing the real definitions of the words in the Quran. For example, the most basic word is deen. They've changed it into the meaning of religion. Unless my boy and girl of 20, 18, and 24, 25 in Dhaka and Chittagong, they are actually correcting these definitions. They are not going to be able to do anything about it. The delusion is, if it were not in the name of Islam, I would not have had this sort of a reaction. I am proud of my Bengali brothers and sisters who are working towards, and I know many, they're around the world. I have never been to Bangladesh, but I've lived in Canada, I've lived in America. The Bengali brothers have a higher IQ than my Pakistani brothers towards Islam. Something worked with the kind of people who were working in the 60s and 70s. We did not work hard enough in these areas. So I have hope from the Bengali brothers. Just like in Pakistan, I have hope from the Pakhtuns. Pakhtuns never changed the definition. Well, their culture helped them to keep their definition, the archetype of the Muslim man and the Muslim woman, even though I do not wholly agree to their definition of the Muslim woman, but the definition of a Muslim man is far more clear in Pakhtuns. मुझे पख्तून ब्रदर से खुशबू इसलिए आती है, और आप देखेंगे हिस्ट्री उठा के देखें, इस एरिया के सारे बड़े इस्लाम के काम अल्लाह ने पख्तूनों से लिए। तो जब आपकी डेफिनेशंस ठीक होती हैं तो आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स की लिस्ट खुद ही क्लियर हो जाती। सो my message to Miss Hasina is very clear, if it ever gets to her, that whatever you did during the time when Burmese Muslims were requiring Islamic help from you, and you turned your back towards them, there will come a day, inshallah, when those Muslim kids are going to stand in front of you in the day of judgment, and they're going to fix your definition of Islam. And at that time, it'll be not just too late, but the price will be 1 billion times more than what you can afford to pay.